Just days after Bigfoot Beverage strikers reach their 200-day mark, tonight the company doubling down on its decision to permanently replace striking workers. KVAL's Gold Meadows has the details.
Bigfoot Beverages sent out a news release Thursday stating its move to permanently replace striking workers was allowed by law. And while Teamsters offered Bigfoot an unconditional return to work for striking workers, Bigfoot says it will not let go of current team members. The company claims replacement workers endured harassment and threats by union picketers, leading to a lawsuit filed by Bigfoot in November against the Teamsters Local 206 and Local 324. On rehiring striking workers, Bigfoot Beverages sent the following statement to our newsroom. All vacant positions are currently filled by replacement workers. Returning employees will therefore be placed on a preferential hiring list for reinstatement based on their seniority. Teamsters, in a release of its own, said Bigfoot is refusing to allow union members to return to their positions, saying, quote, "This greedy, abusive company is violating the law. Employers cannot permanently replace workers who engage in an unfair labor practice strike." The union said it will file additional charges against Bigfoot for the lockout. Meanwhile, a University of Oregon professor tells us there are two types of labor strikes. One is when workers strike about money and can be replaced by permanent workers. The other is when workers say the employer broke the law, known as an unfair labor practice, like the Bigfoot strike.
The key difference under federal law is that if you are out on strike because your employer violated the law, you cannot be permanently replaced. But when you make an unconditional offer to return, you have to be taken back. The National Labor Relations Board needs to hear those cases, and it's a very slow-moving bureaucracy. But their legal protections, which gives them the right to get their jobs back when the strike is done, does not depend on how that hearing plays out.
Teamsters historically strike over law breaking, and another point of concern is Bigfoot no longer recognizing the Teamsters union, Lafer said.
It kind of follows a classic union busting playbook where an employer says, I'm going to force you out on strike over something that's an existential threat to your families of changing the pensions, and then hire people. I know that Bigfoot also at one point said, we think that most people who work here don't want the union anymore, so we don't recognize the union. That's also illegal. There is a legal process under federal labor law to have an election.
That election is called a decertification election that must be conducted by the Labor Board. Teamsters Local 324 said there was not a legitimate decertification election with Labor Board oversight, arguing that Bigfoot's latest release is full of lies. We reached out to Bigfoot for interviews, but the company declined. We also shared with Bigfoot the professor's concerns over the legality of its hiring practices during the strike, but we have not received a response. In Eugene, I'm Gold Meadows.